Action.
All right, cool. So good afternoon, you all. I have been talking to you all the last several weeks about the election. Obviously, it's a big, big topic. So on my board, I want to call your attention to my board. Of course, our candidates are Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. And I got some really funny pictures up there of them because I just like them. But what I need you to do real quick is take out a sheet of paper. I'm gonna do this a little bit differently probably. So what I want you to do is divide your paper in half. On one side, I want you to put Kamala, and then on the other side, I want you to put Donald. All right? And I was gonna I'll use my watch. I'm gonna use my phone for my clock, but I'll use my watch. I'm giving you 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds to write down everything you know about Kamala's top policy. Ready, go. $25. $10 seconds. All right, time. All right, you got 30 seconds now to write everything you know about Donald's top policy. Ready, go. All right, time. Okay, so this is what I need you to do. I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got an odd number. That's fine. So you three guys in the back, you'll be a group. You two will be a group. You two will be a group. I want you to share what your top things you wrote down for Kamala. I want you to share yours. So I want you to share what were your top things that you wrote down for Kamala. Share.
I wrote she was pro-abortion rights, supports the LGBTQ plus community, and it has like that Joe Biden economic plan.
I also said abortion access, pro-LGBT, and then pro-Ukraine.
Pro-Ukraine, that's a good one.
I also put abortion rights, and I put border security.
Alrighty.
Kinda.
So we're gonna switch real quick, guys. We're gonna switch.
All right.
Share with your partner everything you wrote down about Donald.
I said he had strong immigration policies.
I have no idea.
He wants to reform education and remove the DOE, and he wants to give more power to the states. Give it back to the states.
I said pro-immigration control, pro-big business, and pro-tax cuts, and then gun rights.
I put border security, cut taxes, abortion, back to the states, and world peace.
Yep.
Yeah,
He says he's the most peaceful president ever.
he does say that.
No, there were no wars. They took
No wars.
under Trump. They took nothing.
They took nothing.
All right.
Under Bush, they took
Time. So now, I'm gonna go on this side. Now I'm gonna shift a little bit. I'm gonna go on this side. I want you to tell me everything that you wrote down about Kamala. And I'm just gonna go this way, and then I'm gonna come back this way. You're gonna tell me about Donald. This group is gonna tell me about Kamala. What did you write down about her?
She focuses a lot on like abortion, women's rights, and then also like environmental issues.
Great.
Yeah, I said the same thing about this. She wants to help restore reproductive freedoms to women.
Okay.
I said pro-abortion access, pro-LGBT community, and also pro-Ukraine.
Okay.
I said pro-abortion rights, pro-LGBTQ community, and supports Joe Biden's economic plan.
Okay. Donald.
I'm Donald Trump. I put border security, cut taxes, abortion rights go to the states, and world peace.
Okay.
Abortion rights to states, something with healthcare.
Okay.
I don't really know.
That's
Mhm.
fine. Okay.
Yeah, I just, a lot of, I like economic policies, like drill, baby, drill.
Mhm.
Yeah, just some foreign policy stuff.
Okay, that's great. You know, I just wanted to know, before we get into the discussion about, of course, we already know who won, and we've already been through the election, but I just want to know, what did you know personally about these candidates that would influence you one way or the other? All right, so real quick, I want to go through some stuff that I got here about Kamala. All right, so here are some of her views, and if you don't mind looking up here really quick, one of the first ones that I saw was about the economy. She wants to raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. That's just one of the things that she wants to do. So she wants to do that, and then taxation. She is in favor of taxing the wealthy and corporations more heavily to fund social programs such as healthcare and education. She has also pushed for the wealthiest Americans to pay their fair share in taxes. So as I'm reading this, I want you to write down like little notes, because you're gonna write about this at the end of the presentation. So I just want you to write down little notes that you can remember about Kamala, okay? All right, so I'm gonna move forward to one of her, the second thing, climate change. Action on climate change. Harris has strongly supported the U.S. rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement and pushing for a green economy. Her plan includes investing in renewable energy, reducing carbon emissions, and addressing environmental justice, particularly for marginalized communities affected by pollution. And then another one is Green New Deal support. While not fully endorsing the Green New Deal, she supports policies aimed at fighting climate change and promoting clean energy jobs. So make sure you write down something that you can remember about what her view is on climate change. Okay? Can I move? All right, healthcare. Universal healthcare. Harris has supported the idea of a Medicare for all system. She believes in providing healthcare as a right for all Americans, although she has also backed the expansion of the Affordable Care Act, or as we may know it, Obamacare, as a step toward universal coverage. Okay? So make sure you write a note down about that. Foreign policy, diplomacy first. Harris has emphasized restoring America's global alliances and pursuing diplomacy over military action. She has also supported a strong relationship with NATO and other democratic nations, China and Russia. She has advocated for a tough stance on China, particularly in trade and technology. With Russia, she supports sanctions against the country in response to its actions in Ukraine and elsewhere. All right, make sure you write a little bit of note about that. All right, so we are at Mr. Trump and his key ideas. I thought this was a funny picture of him working at a McDonald's. He has probably never ever done that in his life. All right, but let's look at what he believes in. All right, America First economy policy. Trump's economy policy was centered around protectionism, with an emphasis on bringing jobs back to the United States. He advocates for tariffs on foreign goods, particularly from China, and renegotiating trade deals like NAFTA, now USMCA. Tax cuts. Trump passed significant tax cuts during his first term, particularly benefiting corporations and high-income earners. His tax policy remains a key part of his economic platform. Deregulation. He focused on reducing government regulations to allow businesses to operate more freely, arguing that fewer regulations promote economic growth. Please make sure you write some notes down about his economic plan. And then climate change. Skepticism about climate change. Trump has downplayed the significance of climate change and reversed many of the environmental regulations set during the Obama administration. He withdrew the U.S. from the Paris Climate Agreement and focused on increasing fossil fuel production, particularly oil and natural gas. And then energy independence. Trump supports the idea of energy independence with a focus on maximizing U.S. production of oil, coal, and gas. Make sure you write some notes down about that. All right. Healthcare. Repeal and replace Obamacare. Trump has consistently advocated for the repeal of the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare as we may know it, and replacing it with a different healthcare system that emphasizes market-driven solutions. Opposition to Medicare for all. He strongly opposes this, Medicare for all, arguing that it would lead to higher taxes and government overreach. All right, make sure you have some notes about that. And then I believe this is the last one. Foreign policy, America first. Trump's foreign policy was centered on putting Americans' interests first. He often criticized international organizations and agreements such as NATO and the United Nations for not serving U.S. interests. He wants a tougher stance on immigration. Trump advocated for stronger border security, including building a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border and for stricter immigration policies. And then lastly, Russia and North Korea. While Trump faced criticism for his friendly relations with Russia, President Vladimir Putin, he also initiated diplomacy with North Korea, meeting with Kim Jong-un in an effort to reduce tension on the Korean peninsula. All right, so I just made a little chart here, so now we can kind of see, and if you don't have some of this in your notes, please feel free to put some of this down, because again, you're going to need this in a moment. But this is a breakdown of what they believe in and their policies. Okay, just a little summary. Okay, can I move?
Yep.
All right. So here's your quick write. We've already cut the paper in half with the notes that you have. All right, that you've been taking in my lecture. What I want you to do, based on what you've learned about Kamala Harris and Donald Trump's views, which candidate platform do you think is more aligned with the needs of your generation? How your generation thinks. You know how your generation thinks. My generation is different from yours. I'm almost 50. How old are most of you at this table?
22.
Wonderful. So we think differently. We see things differently. I want you to write a small paragraph, 3 to 4 sentences, about let me read it right. Which candidate's platform do you think is more aligned with the needs of your generation and why? I'm going to give you about 7 minutes to do that. All right? You may get started. Now, in a real class, I will give you about 7 minutes, but we're not in real class. All right, so you don't have 7 minutes, but I did want to give you an opportunity to write down some of the things that you wrote. Some of your thoughts, because I do want to know how different are they when you actually saw some of the things that their policies than what you wrote before we got started. So remember, I gave you about 30 seconds to write down some of the top policies of what you could remember about them. And now we've gone through some of their actual policies. I just want to know how close were you with what you thought. And I do want to know, how do you think they will help you all's generation? So I do want to kind of have a little bit of a discussion, maybe a minute or two. Just give me your thoughts about what you think about Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Now we know who won, but give me your thoughts about them. One body.
I think our generation would fall in more with Harris, just because we're all really poor right now because we haven't built ourselves up economically because we're like still young.
Mhm.
So I think like a more forgiving economy. At least that's what it sounds like.
Okay.
She kind of supported a more forgiving economy would benefit our generation as of right now because we're just young and poor.
I got you, and then I got you, yes.
I
Okay.
think in the maybe short-term Trump policies would benefit us because there would be some lower taxes and maybe grow the economy a little more. But I think in the long term, our generation is going to need to deal with climate change, and so Harris's policies of protecting us from climate change are going to be are going to meet those long-term needs.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like they both would help our overall living, but in different ways. I feel like what Timmy was saying, like on the short term, like Trump with the economy might make it other better, and like overall maybe raise our standard of living slightly. But I feel like also Kamala has like the personal liberties and like the interest that she puts into that, and like our personal freedoms also would benefit us.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I think that Kamala seems to be more in tune with like social issues that affect people closer to our age and stuff like that. So I think in terms of that, like the social aspect of it, I think she'd be more beneficial for us.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. So the last thing that I want to do, I know, is this too long of a lesson? Forgive me.
And it's all good.
All right. So the last thing I want to do is I erased it. The last thing that I wanted to do was I have an exit ticket, of course. So let me get, yeah, of course I got an exit ticket, right?
You gotta get that extra.
So I know my exit ticket is still on my computer, it's just not up there. Or it's not, no, it's not on here either. So your exit ticket, it was simply, what is one thing you got from the lesson today? Just write that down, and then we will be done.
That was good.
Thank you. I'm done. Yay.
You did it.